Today we will see the part 4, that is the final part of the OSI reference model. We will now see the outcomes of today's session. In today's session, we will be just recollecting the various services offered by each layer of the OSI model. So we will understand the working of OSI reference model with an example. We know very well that there are 7 layers in the OSI reference model: application layer, presentation layer, session layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer, and physical layer. We will now see what are the services offered by each layer. Application layer. The services offered by application layer are file transfer and access management, mail services, and directory services. We have other services also, but I have listed the primary services offered by the application layer. Now we will move on to the presentation layer. This layer offers translation, encryption, and compression. And coming to the session layer, it is dealing with the dialog control and synchronization. Then the very important layer, the transport layer, because it deals with the port addressing, that is, whatever the data is received from the upper layers, it adds the source port number and the destination port number, that is port addressing. If the message is big, it is going to break that into small pieces and reassembled in the receiver side. So segmentation and reassembly, connection control, flow control, and error control. And coming to the network layer, after adding the transport layer information, that is the source port number and the destination port number, now source IP address and destination IP address have to be added, and these information are added in the network layer. So network layer, it deals with the logical addressing and routing. So routers takes decision based on the network layer information. And coming to the data link layer, after adding the source IP address and the destination IP address, now we are required to add the source MAC address and the destination MAC address. After adding the MAC address, we will also deal with the error control related part. Framing is one of the services offered by the data link layer. We are going to construct some group of bits and we are going to name it as a frame. And each frame are going to be placed on the physical layer or the physical medium. So adding the source physical address and adding the destination physical address, in other words, adding the source MAC address and adding the destination MAC address is done in this data link layer. In addition to this, flow control, error control, and access control are also dealt by the data link layer. And finally, physical layer. So after the application data is generated by the application layer, it goes through so many layers, and source port number and destination port numbers are added in the transport layer. Source IP address and destination IP address are added in the network layer, and source MAC address and destination MAC address are added in the data link layer, and then the frames are constructed, and it is the responsibility of the physical layer to place the frames on the medium. There are two kinds of medium, wired medium and wireless medium. So physical layer deals with the physical characteristics of the media and the representation of bits, the data rate or the transmission rate, and the synchronization of bits, the line configuration, the physical topology, and the transmission mode. We have already seen about the various services offered in the previous lectures. If you are not clear with any of the point, I request you to watch the previous lecture again, so that it will give you confidence about the various services offered by each layer. So far we have seen the various services offered by each layer. Now we will see the working of the OSI reference model. If you say this is the sender computer and this is the receiver computer, so this sender computer and receiver computer are connected through a network. So obviously there is a transmission medium. So the data generated by the application layer is named as D7. That is the data generated by layer 7. We know very well that layer 7 means it is application layer. Then some activity is carried out in the application layer, that is the header, H7 header is added to the application layer. It is then given to the presentation layer. D6 means it is presentation layer. So in this presentation layer, the data is encrypted or translated or compressed, and this header is added in the presentation layer. After that, it is given to the session layer. After session layer, it is given to the important layer, the transport layer, where source port number and destination port number related information is added. So that is in the H4, that is header 4. After adding the source port number and the destination port number, this data or information is given to the network layer. In network layer, source IP address and destination IP address are added. After adding the source IP address and the destination IP address, it is then handed over to the data link layer. In the data link layer, the source MAC address and the destination MAC address are added in the header part, and error control related things are added in the trailer part. So data link layer encapsulates or puts header as well as trailer to the data what it has received from the network layer. And finally, all the data are converted into zeros and ones in the physical layer, and it is the responsibility of the physical layer to take the frames which are generated by the data link layer and place the frames on the transmission medium. And upon the reception, all the data are received in the form of bits only in the receiver side. So the physical layer of the receiver receives the data and gives the data to the data link layer, and then gives the data to the network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, and application layer. Now you could see that this application layer information has finally reached the receiver's application layer. Whatever data that is generated by the application layer of the sender, it is now handed over to the application layer of the receiver. We will now see more about this with an example. Let A be the sender computer and P be the receiver computer. We know very well that in every computer there will be many processes running. Let this be the port number of this process. Let B be the port number of this process. Let C be the port number of this process. Similarly, in the receiver side also, we will have so many processes running, and let this J be the port number of this process and K be the port number of this process. Now, this process, that is with the port number A, is going to send some data to this process with the port number J. So in this case, the source port number is going to be A and the destination port number is going to be J. So once the data is generated by the application layer, we are not talking about the presentation and session layer here. So that data is then given to the transport layer. In the transport layer, we know very well that the source port number and destination port numbers are going to be added. And the source port number is going to be A and the destination port number is J. So this data is added with A and J, which are the source and the destination port numbers respectively. After the transport layer data is added, it is then given to the network layer. And in this network layer, whatever it has received from the transport layer, it is going to add with the source IP address and the destination IP address. So A is the source IP address. Making the thing simple, we have used it as A and P. So actually IP addresses are different. It has 4 octets, but for simplicity we have taken it as A and P here. So A and P are the source and the destination IP addresses respectively. After adding the source and the destination IP address, now the data is given to the data link layer. In the data link layer, whatever it has received from the network layer, it is going to be added with the header and the trailer. Header contains source MAC address and the destination MAC address, and trailer deals with the error control related part. We will see this elaborately in the upcoming lectures. For time being, you just understand data link layer adds a header and the trailer, where header has source MAC address and destination MAC address related information, and the trailer has error control related information. And the destination MAC address means it is not the MAC address of this receiver, because it is very difficult to find the destination MAC address. So what this computer does, it puts the MAC address of the immediate router or the first router it is hitting. That router's MAC address will be used as the destination MAC address here. So let us not get involved into these details now. Anyway, we will be dealing about this elaborately in the upcoming lectures. So for time being, data link layer adds source MAC address and destination MAC address. I hope this example will be helpful for you to understand OSI reference model in a better way. And that's it guys. In today's session, we have recalled the services offered by each layer of the OSI model, and we understood the working of the OSI model with an example. I hope the session is informative, and thank you for watching.